past the limits of our galaxy. It's presumed to be hopelessly lost in space.
That course of action.
My computer is the best on Earth.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Everyone, it's been a while, hasn't it? Well, it's because I've been doing a lot of research and study. I am a Christian, but I like to dig around and find information out. And so I have been researching on UFO sightings and trying to find out, are they good? Are they evil? Are they indifferent? What do they play in the end time scenario that God's got planned for the earth? What's going on? And so I am going to talk about 4 different men that say we've already been, now y'all grip your seats, we've already been in space, and there are people from the world, all over the world, living on Mars and the moon and other planets and other stars. Do you see my tin hat yet? But anyway, we're going to dig into it. I hope you are ready to listen. I didn't know exactly how to bring this about, so I am going to start with Corey Goode. I have spoken about him before when I made the video about giants frozen in Antarctica. I put a link below. You can go look at that if you would like to. I'm inserting pictures after I talk, maybe some before, of Corey Goode and the other 3 men I'll be talking about. But I want to tell you that they all of them say that there has been a big cover-up to keep us from knowing what's really going on up there in the sky, and it's been going on for a long time. One of them did say that America got involved heavily in developing their craft to go into space and to do things up there and mine planets, etc., 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 right after World War II. They also said that the Germans were the first ones to reach that knowledge and to understand how to build ships to go to other worlds. They also said in 1952, when all the UFOs came and hovered over Washington, D.C., over the White House, that they were not aliens from another planet or whatever. They were Nazis. They were the Germans trying to make a point, don't cross the line, or we're going to let everybody know that we have more technology than you. So after the war, the Americans had that technology. Now, this is very complicated, so before I go any further, and I've already lost you because you're already thinking she's gone woo, 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 off in deep end now, I want to explain to you the background of one person that I'm going to talk about, which is Corey Goode. And I'm just going to read off my laptop here what this man is. Corey Goode was recruited when he was 6 years old by what is called MILAB, M-I-L-A-B, capital letters program, okay? Age 6. It's a military abduction of a person that indoctrinates and trains them for any number of military black op programs. Goode was trained to serve in MILAB program from 1976 to 1986, and then some after, and he put 87 in here too. Toward the end of his time at MILAB, he was assigned to fill an empath support role for rotating Earth delegate seat shared by secret Earth government groups in a human-type ET Super Federation Council. You heard me right. The reason they recruited him is because he had, they said, giftings that were outstanding, and they took him young to develop him in these giftings so he could be used to communicate. Now I want you to hear this and don't let me lose you. Listen carefully. Communicate in settings in a council and discern who was telling the truth, who was lying, who could be trusted, who couldn't, because he had this gift to feel and to see and comprehend what people were really thinking and doing. And they developed it through the years as they trained him from 6 years old on up. All right. This is crazy. During his 20-year service, he had a variety of experiences and assignments, including the Intruder Intercept Interrogation Program, the assignment to the ASSR, which is an Auxiliary Specialized Space Research, the SRV, an interstellar class vessel, so it was a vessel, a spaceship, hello, and much more. This all occurred in a 20 and back agreement that he had with them. Now, Good is not an idiot. He's not a druggie. He's not a fly-by-night. He now works in technology and communication industry with 20 years experience in hardware and software, virtualization, physical and IT security, counter electronic surveillance, risk assessment, and executive protection, and served in the Texas Army State Guard. And he wanted to point out the Texas military force was unrelated to the secret space program services that he was in, called the SSP, Secret Space Program. You will hear that a lot because they are made up of world leaders, corporations, and all kinds of people with money that get together at a council to decide what they're going to do in space. All of these men, Corey Good was one, but also David Wilcox, Emery Smith, which served in the military in space, and Randy Kramer, that was a pilot of some of these ships in military assignments, and even came into combat face to face with what they say are aliens. You heard me right. I have listened to hour after hour of these people talk, and they're not lying. They're coming out for a reason. They want people to know what's going on. They want people to understand there is a covert operation going on underneath, and they said the cabal's in it. The left, those that are not for the common good of mankind, the ones that are behind all the bloodshed, the ones that are behind the diseases being released in the earth. And so they wanted to come out and tell people what's going on. But they can't tell us everything at once because they said we couldn't handle it. And I'm telling you, just listening to the stuff, my brain was fizzling because we think we haven't even reached space yet. And all these men are telling very specific details saying we have. And not only that, we have come in contact with 25 or more different species of aliens in space on different planets, including Mars and the moon. And he said some of them are helping us and some of them aren't. So in my Christian mind, I'm trying to fathom this because I will also put a link to my dream I had in the 70s about the end time, how the Antichrist is going to come on the scene. Because I'm not kidding you. After listening to these men, it's all coming out just like my dream. Even to the point where I saw in the dream pyramid-shaped UFOs, and this one guy, Kramer, saw a pyramid-shaped UFO, and he was describing other ships, not UFOs, because they're identified now. They know they're being flown by things. Yes, people, real people have them, but there are other entities that are out there that are communicating with them. Now, they're talking about all this stuff, and this Alliance Council, the ET Federation and stuff. And I'm just like, what? So what happens is that in 1938, or around 1938, which is weird, it's about the same time that Orson Welles put out on the radio and everybody heard it that we were being invaded from Mars. And it was just a big story. It wasn't true, but they thought it was. And it was in the 1930s when they really started developing real craft to go up. And then it developed tremendously, and they started putting their resources on other planets during World War II and after, and now it's exploded. They said there are living facilities and bases set up on the dark side of the moon right now with human beings. Some of these people that have come up missing, and if you've ever heard the 411 series about the missing 411, this guy wrote a book about it. All these people disappearing. I mean, somebody turned their head one minute and looked back the next, and this person's gone. And they're always winding up being very intelligent physicians or physicists or something, and all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. Well, yeah, a lot of the missing are being taken up there with promises that they're going to have everything they need, and then this covert military, when they get off the ships or get there, they're under lock and key, and they're guarded with guns. And Corey Good wanted to come out and say this isn't right what they're doing to people. Now, my ears went up when I heard President Trump say that he wanted to develop a super space program. And I wonder why. Well, some of them said that some of these entities are not good, and that they expect an invasion on Earth sooner or later. I don't know what to think, y'all, but this is crazy. You can find all this in a place that's like Hulu or Netflix, but it's called Gaia.com or Gaia, Gaia.com. It costs $11.99 a month. Now, I subscribe to it. I kind of hesitate at first because there's a lot of stuff on there I don't believe that people do, like mind travel and all that, you know. But I'm not in it to watch that. I'm in it to learn and discern what's going on in this end times. And man, I got my ears full. Christians are apt to think that Satan and all his fallen angels are spirits. And I'm telling you, they said, every one of them interviewed said, they are mixing genetics. Now, if you remember, I've told you a bunch of times that in the days of Noah, they were mixing genetics. They were mixing DNA with animal, with fish, with human, and them, the fallen angels. And so these beings that were created had some of the angelic powers to appear and disappear, to be able to go through portals and all that. Well, they have had thousands of years to make more beings, and these people up there said they're mixing genetics. And I really think that's where all these different supposedly alien races are coming from. There's one that looks like it's got an alligator face. There's one, the man said, Kramer said, he sat across a council table from a dog man. He said he looked like a husky in the face, but he had a man's body. Now, I know it sounds weird, but these are credible people with very smart and intelligent. They've been there. They said it's true. And we aren't being told. We're 60 so years behind. They just tell us what they want to tell us. And you know why they said that? So they can make money. He said the iPhones you have now, just nothing. They got more sitting on the shelf waiting to release when they think that mankind has caught up a little. Now, I feel kind of irritated about that. I know God's got everything in control, but you think you're free on this earth? No, you're not. There's no true freedom on this earth. You'll never, ever receive any freedom unless you have Jesus, because this is bad, y'all. I had that dream in 78 that the Antichrist came from the sky and pretended to be an alien and said that they were our space brothers and that they were going to teach us these great things. And they're teaching them, all right. They're teaching them how to travel with their mind, how to use mind control. They're teaching them how to go through portals. They're teaching them how to dematerialize and rematerialize. Yeah, just like Star Trek. They're doing that. Anything you can imagine, you have seen in the movies, in the space programs, is happening now, they say. Now, I haven't seen it, but I really believe these people are credible. I'm going to leave links down so you can read more of Corey Good's stuff. And I also noticed he's got a Corey Good's Facebook page. And so I like that so I could follow him. Things are wrapping up, y'all. Now, this Corey Good said he is friends with an avian race of supposedly aliens, from another planet. But they told him that the form they show him isn't really their form, that they really are immaterial, or I'm not saying it right, but they're just putting on that form for him. Well, in my dream, that's exactly what the aliens said. You couldn't handle our real form, so we're going to show you a different form. You won't really see what we really are. Now, isn't that strange that that's exactly what they said, this alien said to them? But anyway, they're doing it for the common good of mankind, right? And they're trying to advance us, and so we'll know things, and we'll have all this stuff. Corey Good said he had it was like a smart pad, like we have today, except he said it was a glass pad. If you saw the glass laying on the ground, you wouldn't even know it was anything. But then it would expand when he would think the thing would come on. Now, they've just developed, or they're developing, they said right now, a computer where it will read your mind. And he had that when he was 6 years old up in space. I don't know, guys, but this is weird. It's really weird. Well, anyway, he had this thing. And he would use his mind to do it. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, one of the things another thing I think they're credible is because Corey Good had said in one of his talks that he had spoken on these shows, he said that there was water on Mars. Now, and he also said they have an atmosphere and they can breathe it. It's oxygen, but it's real thin, like they're up on top of Mount Everest. So you can't go run or anything; you'll pass out. But he said there's water there. Well, just a couple of years, he'd already said that. Now NASA's finally come out and said there's water on Mars. So, I kind of think he's credible. Now, these avian race that he says are helping him, but to me, they're just helping him mind travel and stuff. I don't know, but anyway. He said they're blue, they have feathers, and I've got a picture in here that you'll see. And they talk with their minds, and they do sign language. But there is another race that are Draco, which is sort of like short for dragon. Hello, dragon. And they look like lizards standing on 2 feet. They have tails. They like to do hand-in-hand combat. There are other ones I said that have crocodile faces. And, a lot of the stuff that Hitler was looking at and trying to figure out and things he was studying all had to do with the Egyptians way back then. If you look at some of the pictures the Egyptians painted on their buildings and walls, you'll see those exact same creatures. You'll see the lizard men or the dragons. You'll see the dog-faced man. You'll see the alligator. You'll see them. There's artifacts. I'm going to put those in here at the end of this. Now, that's about all I'm going to say today. I want you to digest it. If you do subscribe to Gaia.com or Gaia, Gaia.com, go to Cosmic Disclosure, that show. Start with season 1 and you will find out everything that I am telling you. Okay, Do you think that we're already off this planet? I do. What's weird is they said this covert military, it broke off from the German, the Nazis that had all that technology. There was a group that split off and continued on their dastardly deeds way. The other ones didn't. And that's where we have these wicked ones in high places trying to control everything. Oh, another thing, they said gold's a dime a dozen up there. It is not a rare thing up in space. It's everywhere. So why do you think they're up there? There is another thing I wanted to say that Corey Good said, that he went to one of these bases on one of these planets, wherever around our solar system. And they were warned and told ahead of time not to give out any information. Well, one of the people that were escorting them through this facility that had real human beings working there, and he said they lived in quarters that looked like jail cells. There was no television. There was no toilet in the room. There wasn't bars. They weren't locked in it, but there was nothing there, and they worked for them. And they're taking the best minds up there and imprisoning them on this place. He made a mistake. One of them asked him where he was from, and he said Texas, because that's where Corey Good is from. And they looked at him real funny. All of a sudden, these guards come in and pull him in a room and start telling him, you're not supposed to tell anybody anything. And you don't understand. They think that there was a worldwide catastrophe on Earth, and that's why they can't go back there. They don't think Earth's there anymore. So these humans are being used for centuries, he said, up there, thinking there is no Earth anymore. Now that's downright cruel, y'all. Now anyway, if this is all real, and I really, you can call me nuts. I'll wear a tin hat next time if you want me to. But I think there's something to it. And I'll talk more about this. I'll probably make another video tomorrow and tell you some more about the intermingling with these aliens they're doing. This is just to get you curious and interested and keep your eyes open. And if you have not watched my dream, I suggest you go and watch my dream. Below I put a link about all the symbolism in it, about what's going to happen in the end times as the great deception to fool mankind into believing that the Antichrist is God and the Savior of the world. And he's going to be alien, I believe. Why else are they manipulating genetics other than Satan knows God wants a pure race, and so Satan's trying to dirty it all up? But God's got it, he's got it together. He's going to only get away with it for a little while. But anyway, this all ties in, y'all. This all ties in. So if you don't know the Lord Jesus, it might be a good time for you to get him. You don't want to be fooled. And hopefully, when this happens in the future, you will remember, if you're left here when the rapture happens, that I told you, and you won't be fooled and you won't follow them. They're going to have a great deception, and it's winding up to that. I can see it while I'm listening to these people. And just imagine, it's going to be so easy to fool people. It is. All right. God bless. Keep your eyes on the good, and heads up. I'll see you later and tell you some more. Bye.